Welcome back to the deep dive. I have to be honest with you. Usually the hardest part of my job is just, making sure I've read all the footnotes and pronouncing the technical terms correctly.
Getting the names right.
But today,
Mm-hmm.
just physically getting into the studio is the challenge. I think I'm still chipping ice off my boots.
It is absolutely brutal out there. It's one of those days where the commute feels less like a drive and more like a survival montage from some movie.
Totally. The roads are a mess.
The sidewalks are basically ice rinks. I honestly hope everyone listening is currently wrapped in a blanket somewhere warm and not trying to navigate all this.
Seriously. If you are listening to this, grab the cocoa, stay put. But ironically, or maybe fittingly, that deep freeze outside is exactly what we need to talk about.
It really is.
We're digging into Winter Storm Fern, but we aren't doing the weather report. We're not talking about wind chill or school closures.
No, we're looking at the aftermath. We're looking at what happens when a massive meteorological event collides, just head on, with the housing industry.
Because the impact goes way beyond just needing to shovel your driveway.
Oh, way beyond. It's a massive ripple effect. We're talking about physical destruction, sure, but also, economic freezes, construction nightmares, and even shifts in how we buy and sell property.
And for this, we are basing our deep dive on a really fascinating breakdown by Robert Flowers. It's titled, How the Winter Storm 2026 Affected the Housing Industry.
Yeah, and this is a really strong source because Robert Flowers isn't just looking at charts from a distance. He's in the trenches. He's from Flowers and Associates Property Rentals.
Right.
And they have this really specific, really vital niche. They specialize in creating passive income streams through special needs housing.
Which is such a unique angle, and we're definitely going to talk more about his strategy later in the show. Because if you're looking for stability in a chaotic market, that is a path you need to know about.
Absolutely.
And if you're the type who likes to go straight to the source, you can really reach them at 901-621-3544.
It's definitely worth a look. But for right now, our mission is to unpack the chaos. We need to understand how Storm Fern didn't just freeze water, it kind of froze the economy.
Let's start with the tangible stuff, the stuff you can see and touch, or I guess the stuff that breaks. When we talk about the physical toll of a storm like Fern, what is actually happening to a house?
Well, the article breaks this down, and honestly, the biggest villain isn't the snow, it's the physics of water. Yeah. Specifically, the expansion of freezing water. You have to remember, when water turns to ice, it expands by about 9% in volume.
Which doesn't sound like a lot until it's happening inside a copper pipe that has zero room to give.
Exactly. It's immense hydraulic pressure. If you have a pipe inside a wall or in a crawl space that isn't perfectly insulated, that water turns into a wedge. It splits copper, shatters PVC.
And the real nightmare is that you usually don't know what happened until the thaw.
Precisely. While it's frozen, the ice is plugging the hole it just made.
It's a ticking time bomb.
It is. The moment the temperature rises, that ice plug melts, and boom, you have full mains pressure spraying inside your walls. We aren't just talking about a plumbing bill?
No, you're talking catastrophic water damage. Drywall turns to mush, floors buckle.
Your electrical system? I mean, it's a fire hazard or a total rewire. It gets bad fast.
And Flowers points out this is a huge problem for homes that aren't coded for this, right? Fern hit places that aren't used to this kind of cold.
That's the resilience gap. But it's not just the plumbing. We have to talk about the roof. And again, it's not just the weight of the snow, though, that is a real risk for flat roofs.
It's the ice dam. I've heard this term thrown around, but walk me through how that actually forms.
So it's a thermodynamic cycle. Imagine your house is warm inside. That heat escapes through the attic, maybe the insulation isn't perfect, and it warms the roof from the underside.
Okay, so it's melting the snow from the bottom up.
Exactly. The water runs down the roof until it hits the eaves, the edge of the roof that hangs over the side.
Which doesn't have a warm attic under it.
Right, it's hanging out in the cold air, so that water hits the edge and instantly refreezes.
Creating a rim of ice right at the gutter line. A literal dam.
A wall of ice. Now, more snow melts higher up, runs down, and hits that wall. It has nowhere to go. It pulls up. And because it's pooling, it backs up under the shingles.
So you have a leak that is effectively being forced into your house from the bottom up.
That's it. It soaks the insulation, ruins the ceiling, and it causes mold issues almost immediately. It is a huge, huge problem.
And the article mentions one more thing. The thaw isn't always a relief.
The rapid thaw. If Fern dumps 2 feet of snow and then a few days later it's 45 degrees, that is thousands of gallons of water released instantly.
And the ground is still frozen solid.
So it can't soak in. It acts like concrete. The water just runs straight into basements and foundations.
So the house is under attack from the inside, from the top, and from the bottom. It just shows how a home is a system, and systems have breaking points.
And when those systems break, it costs money.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the second and maybe scarier layer of this, the financial aftershock.
The insurance industry.
Yeah.
The people who have to pay for all this.
We are. And this is where the invisible damage happens. Analysts looking at Storm Fern are projecting billions in insured losses. And billions makes insurance adjusters very nervous.
And it's not just the houses, right? That number includes everything.
No, it's comprehensive. It's auto accidents on icy roads, businesses with burst sprinklers. It all goes into the same risk pool.
So for the average listener who maybe got lucky, their pipes held up.
Yeah.
Are they in the clear? Or are they going to feel this too?
Oh, you're going to feel it. That's the catch with insurance. It's a shared risk model.
Right.
When carriers take a hit this big, they have to make that money back. The most direct way to do that is premium hikes.
So we can expect our monthly payments to go up, regardless of whether we filed a claim.
Almost certainly, especially in an affected region. But Flowers' analysis goes deeper than just price. He talks about underwriting standards. This is where it gets tricky for the market.
Okay, what does that mean? Tightening underwriting.
It means the insurance companies get picky. They start saying, you know what, we aren't going to write new policies in this zip code anymore. Or we will insure you, but we're excluding water damage. Or your deductible is now $10,000.
That's terrifying because, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can't get a mortgage without insurance.
Bingo. That is the ripple effect, the mortgage ripple. Lenders require proof of full coverage. If you can't find a carrier or if the premium is so high that it messes up your debt-to-income ratio,
The deal falls through.
you effectively have homes that become unbuyable, not because they're bad houses, but because the financial system around them has deemed them too risky.
It's an affordability barrier that has nothing to do with the listing price. Speaking of listings, let's talk about the market itself. Storm Fern didn't just break pipes, it broke the flow of business. The article calls this the market freeze.
It's literal and figurative. Real estate relies on momentum. Storm Fern hit the pause button hard.
I mean, that makes sense. Who is going to an open house when it's 10 below zero?
Nobody! That's the transactional slowdown. Buyers aren't touring. Home inspectors can't inspect a roof covered in snow. Appraisers can't see the foundation. Everything just stops.
And sellers pull back too, right? You don't want to list your house when it looks like an igloo.
Curb appeal is dead in a blizzard. So sellers delist or they just delay. They wait.
Now, the article mentions New England specifically as a case study. What happened there?
New England saw a drastic drop in inventory. The number of active listings just cratered. But here's the problem. The buyers didn't disappear.
The demand is still there, just on hold.
Right. So you create this coiled spring effect. As soon as the road's clear, you have 2 weeks worth of buyers fighting over a handful of houses.
Which drives prices up instantly. Bidding wars.
Fierce competition. It destabilizes the natural rhythm of the market. People make rash decisions because they feel like they're going to miss out.
Okay, so if we have a shortage of houses and a surplus of buyers, the logical answer is build more houses.
Logical? Yes. Feasible during Storm Fern? Absolutely not. This is section 4 of our deep dive, the supply chain freeze.
I mean, I've seen construction sites in winter. It doesn't look fun, but work usually continues. Why did Fern stop it?
It's not just about comfort, it's about chemistry and safety. Take concrete. You cannot pour a foundation in sub-zero temps without expensive additives because the water in the mix freezes before it cures.
It loses all its strength.
All of it. So
Yeah.
you literally can't start the house. Can't do roofing because shingles get brittle and snap. Can't do siding. And that's if the workers can even get there.
Roads are closed.
Roads are closed, schools are closed, labor evaporates. But even if you have workers, you might not have the materials.
The supply chain.
Fern shut down highways and grounded flights. That means the lumber, the windows, the appliances, they're all sitting on a truck somewhere in a snowbank.
And construction is a sequence. You can't put the roof on until the frame is up.
It's a domino effect. A 1-week storm doesn't just delay a project for 1 week. It might delay the foundation, which pushes back the framing crew, but they're booked. Suddenly, a one-week storm delays the delivery of a home by 3 months.
Which just makes that inventory shortage even worse.
Exactly. It compounds every single problem we've discussed.
As we go through all this, the physical damage, the insurance costs, the delays, it really makes me wonder about the psychology of the buyer. Does living through a storm like this change what you look for in a house?
That is a profound question, and the article dedicates a whole section to these behavioral shifts. The author suggests we're seeing a change in consumer values. Resilience is becoming a feature.
Resilience as a selling point.
Think about it. 10 years ago, you'd ask, does it have granite countertops?
Now you're asking, is the plumbing insulated? Does it have a backup generator?
Is the roof reinforced for snow load?
Exactly. The cool factor is shifting toward the safety factor. Risk awareness is at an all-time high.
It's like the smart home concept is changing. It used to mean voice-activated lights. Now it means a home that doesn't fall apart when the weather gets bad.
And it's affecting where people move, too. The article notes a potential migration shift. If an area gets a reputation for failing infrastructure power grids that go down for weeks, buyers start to avoid them.
A flight to safety.
It is.
Wait, so-
And we have to touch on the community impact, too. When power goes out for a week, pipes burst. People get displaced. They need somewhere to live while their house is being fixed.
So the rental market gets squeezed.
Recovering communities see a huge spike in rental demand, driving prices up there as well. It's a total ecosystem disruption.
It really feels like we've painted a picture of a system that is incredibly interconnected and, frankly, surprisingly fragile. But we need to talk about solutions. Adaptation. We do. And I want to circle back to the source of today's insights, Robert Flowers. Because his entire business model is actually a masterclass in adaptation.
We mentioned he's with Flowers and Associates Property Rentals. He's an award-winning real estate investor, over 15 years, A+ BBB accredited. He's seen it all.
And his strategy avoids so much of the volatility we just talked about. He focuses on special needs housing.
Explain how that works for an investor. How is that different from just buying a condo and renting it out?
The strategy is centered on partnering with nonprofits. You're providing housing for adults with disabilities. This is a massive, underserved social need. But from an investment standpoint, it provides incredible stability.
Because the demand is constant.
The demand is constant, the leases are long-term, and it's often backed by organizations or government funding that ensures the rent gets paid. You aren't worrying about a tenant losing their job in a storm.
It's impact investing. You're solving a real problem while creating a revenue stream.
Exactly. And in a world where the weather is chaotic and the market is freezing up, having a stable, passive income stream like that is gold.
That's a great point. If you're listening and thinking, okay, the traditional market sounds like a headache, this is a great option to explore.
Robert Flowers actually has a podcast where he breaks this all down. It's called Passive Impact Podcast.
Perfect. So you can go deeper on the how-to with him. And again, if you want to reach out to Flowers and Associates Property Rentals, that number is 901-621-3544.
As Robert puts it in the article, give it a listen. It's on us. It's worth checking out if you want to build a portfolio that can weather the storm, pun intended.
So let's bring this deep dive in for a landing. We've covered a lot: the physics of ice, the economics of insurance, the psychology of the buyer.
If I had to summarize the takeaway from Storm Fern, it's this. The storm wasn't just a weather event. It was a stress test.
A stress test for the entire housing ecosystem.
It revealed the cracks, literally in the pipes, and metaphorically in our insurance and supply chains. It showed us that our current way of building and buying is fragile.
But recovery creates opportunity, right?
That's the key. Resilience isn't a buzzword anymore. It's an economic necessity. The market is going to reward the resilient, the builders who build better, the insurers who model risk better, and the buyers who choose safer homes.
It really changes the definition of value.
That leads me to my final thought for you, the listener. We are trained to value homes based on, location,
Fair.
or square footage.
The classics.
Right. But as extreme weather events like Fern become more common, I want you to ask yourself, are we entering an era where weather resilience becomes a specific metric on a real estate listing?
Like a walk score, but a storm score.
Exactly. Will a smaller, storm-proof house soon be worth more than a mansion with a vulnerable roof?
I think the market is already starting to decide. The answer is yes.
We might see a future where the unsexy features, drainage, insulation, become the biggest value drivers. That is a fascinating shift to consider. The boring, sturdy stuff is the ultimate luxury.
I think you're right. And honestly, after the week we've had, boring and sturdy sounds pretty good.
The same here.
Well, on that note, we're going to sign off. Thank you for braving the elements to tune into this deep dive.
Stay safe, stay warm, and check your pipes, everyone.
See you next time.